It's Nolan. Lifelong dreams being elevated. Leave a nigga face down like he meditating. Growing up, trepidation in my locale. Hearing 40 cal, know somebody need resuscitation. I describe myself, nothing define me. Paper cut sharp, origami. Business in the iPhone, biting the apple like Shinigami. Death notes, every bar's like a homie. I'm the Clyde with a Bonnie. Rhythmalism, I'm too quick. New scripts, I'm producing them daily like news clips. Roof Chris, give me all of the beef, I'm a sous chef. Homies had them 8 balls for the grin like a pool stick. I learn my ingredients as I get older, more lenient. We use bitch niggas to be convenient. Need more cash, that's immediate, expedient. My experience teaching what I couldn't get from PBS. Freedom of the finance, read a pie graph. I take my pride back, flip the color like a Mike Jack. Niggas ain't like that. Take a name like it's Iraq. You diss me, might stab a nigga with a wine glass. It's risky. Might crash, don't invite me to the function. I smash niggas pumpkins all together conjunction. Southside nigga cooking up like it's a luncheon. We don't need a studio to get you niggas punched in. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. How y'all doing out there? I hope y'all doing well. Now, in this episode, we're going to be addressing Kendrick Lamar, but not from the typical stance, right? Because, of course, he doesn't come out and speak. He doesn't have no new interviews. His album is climbing the charts. Everything is going well. But we're going to be talking about one of the most well-received songs from his brand new GNX project, Reincarnated, okay? Now, in the first part of today's video here, we're going to address EDI Mean from the Outlawz, which, if you don't know who the Outlawz are, wow, Jesus. But if you know who Tupac is, then you should know that he screamed Outlawz on a lot of his music. And, of course, the group Outlawz were featured on quite a bit of songs on his albums as well. So EDI Mean is a member of the Outlawz group. Just want to give you a quick refresher course for anybody out there that don't know. You would be surprised who don't. Okay? And he recently came out and gave a nice salute to Kendrick Lamar for recreating Tupac's Made Niggaz, which actually features the Outlawz on it for his new song, Reincarnated. All right? Now, in his video, he congratulates Kendrick, says his album is dope. He praises him for bringing the energy back to the West Coast. But he also goes off on a little bit of a tangent to explain the process in making the original, not Reincarnated, but Made Niggaz, between Tupac and the Outlawz, why they made the song, how the song came to be, the inspiration behind it, the conversations that they had in order to make this record. And then he gets into Kendrick, all right? So I thought this was interesting. It's always nice to get that that positive reinforcement, you know what I'm saying? Because unfortunately, Tupac's not here. Kendrick does have a connection with the Tupac estate. You know, when the Drake and Kendrick battle was live and well, we had the Tupac estate come out and say, hey, Drake, you can't be out here using Tupac voice. You can't be doing that AI shit. That's not sanctioned. You don't got a good relationship with the family over here. You can't be playing with us like that. But we do have a good relationship with Kendrick. So you're gonna have to take that. You're gonna have to take that one down, right? So in order to have one of Pac's closest homies, somebody that Pac signed, somebody that Pac worked with very closely, mentored, etc., and of course who featured on the original record that you're recreating, to come out and give you love, I think that's pretty dope. So let's go ahead and pull up EDI Mean's video and, you know, kind of get a little glimpse of history. All right, let's get to it.
So I want to get right into it because the internet, the music world has been a buzz with the release of Kendrick Lamar's new album, GNX. Now, on this particular project that is full of bangers, he did a remake of Made Niggaz.
I got this fire burning in me from within. Concentrated thoughts on who I used to be. I'm shedding skin.
That's right. If you haven't heard it yet, you've been on a rock, you've been on another planet. Kendrick Lamar not necessarily did a remake of Made Niggaz. He kind of rapped on the beat and did a whole new song to it, but sparked a lot of interest in Made Niggaz, of course. And it bridges the gap between the new generation and the older generation when you do things like this. So I wanted to give everybody some background on the making of Made Niggaz and how we even came up with it. So I'll go all the way to the beginning. Imagine this. Tupac and the Outlawz chilling in Tupac's condo, high-rise condo in Los Angeles, California. And we're watching the classic movie Goodfellas. So there's a part in this particular film that they start to talk about what it means to be a made guy in the world of La Costa Nostra and the mafia. And so we're sitting there watching this movie, chilling. And a lot of times when it was just pocking us together, we would have these in-depth conversations about a lot of things. And that's how a lot of our songs made it out conceptually into the studio and eventually out into the world for everybody to hear. Songs like Illuminati, the whole Illuminati concept, that came from another conversation. And there's plenty others, but we're talking about Made Niggaz. And Made Niggaz came from watching that movie and having a conversation when one of us asked, yo, the Italians only make Italians. And they had to be able to trace your bloodline all the way back to the old country, all the way back to Sicily. And if they couldn't, you couldn't be a made guy. No matter what you did for the family, what you did for your team, that wasn't enough to make you. Your bloodline had to be 100% pure, according to them and their rules. And so when that question came up as far as, well, shit, that definitely didn't include us, people that look like us. I remember Pac responding, fuck that, we made niggas, we make ourselves. Bam, song title right there. So fast forward, we end up in the studio and now it's time to record the song Made Niggaz. I also remember Pac prior to that letting us know that this song was going to be on a soundtrack, and the soundtrack was the Super Cop soundtrack starring Jackie Chan, and we were going to be paid for it. This was going to be our first industry money that we ever got. You know, for me personally, a few months prior to that, I was in Jersey standing on the corner, you know, selling crack for a few dollars here and there. You know what I mean? I had a child on the way and I had no job, nothing. Pac was in jail and the plan was to, of course, reunite and put this thing back together once he got out of jail and continue on the trajectory that we had already started. So to be getting some industry money was quite the achievement at that time for myself and the whole group. And I believe we were gonna get like 30,000 for the song, and we had to split that up amongst the group. It was 5 of us, so you do the math on that. That led to us even getting our first bank accounts, because up until that point, none of us had bank accounts. I don't even think a lot of us had ID. You know what I mean? Like, we were fresh off the block at this point in time and trying to make our way. And I was particularly happy about it because I was like, wow, we're gonna not only make some of our own money, but we get to make some money for Pac. And, you know, because the soundtrack was all of us together, he was gonna get a bag and we was gonna get a bag. And I just felt good about earning my own keep. It was important to me at that point to be making money and not be getting taken care of by nobody, but especially Dude, because Dude had already done so much for me personally. So we get to the studio and it's time to do the song. And I remember Pac telling Johnny J, like, yo, I want this to be like some classical hip hop shit, like classical music, Bach, Beethoven sounding, you know, melodies and chords on a hip hop beat. And when you listen to Made Niggaz, that's exactly what it gets. Now, the person who played the piano on that, a lot of times, put this in context, a lot of times when we recorded music like a band. You know, we would have the guitar player, keyboard player, bass player, all in the studio with Johnny J on the drums, and the music would come together as we were writing it. You know, they got the metronome going. I would sometimes write to the metronome, you know what I mean? So long as I had the rhythm, I can come up with a cadence and lyrics would eventually come. And this particular day, Johnny J had a keyboard who was classically trained by the name of Ronnie King. He came into the studio, and after him and Pac and Johnny J had a brief discussion, he went and got on the keyboard and started playing that piano lick that you hear in Made Niggas. And I just remember this sitting dude amazed because he came up with that pretty quickly, and not only did he come up with it, we recorded it, and he recorded it in one take. He never messed up. He played that for 6 minutes, never messing up. I was like, wow, this is okay. So that is about to go down.
I'm going to get back to EDI Mean, but I do want to speak on this real quick because this is really dope to me. The fact that they had to actually play this on the keyboard live and never fucked up, played it for 6 minutes in order to get the track and get the drums and everything tracked out. This ain't no sample shit. This ain't no I see something dope and I'm just going to take it and copy it, cut and paste and rap over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit was done live in the studio, and this is before Pro Tools. I think they invented Pro Tools like right after or around the time Tupac died. Because I remember his engineer talking about how when he did Me and My Girlfriend, some of the effects and stuff that you hear on that song were not planned to happen because the computer crashed or something like that they were using, or the mixing board. Something happened with the fucking mixing board and the computer, and then they ended up shifting over to Pro Tools shortly after in order to like salvage how the song came together, because some weird shit happened. But I'm kind of redirecting the conversation. But just to give y'all a glimpse into like how these artists used to produce and create these songs. This ain't just no, oh, I fucked up, go back type of shit. You know, like, these niggas was recording on fucking reels and shit like that, where you really had to get that shit right. You couldn't just keep fucking up all day, punching in, doing 2 bars at a time and shit like that. So that's also something to be respected within the culture of hip hop, is when you actually had to make music, for the most part still live, like the older generations, the funk bands, the jazz bands, everybody from the 80s on back had to do. But I'm going to get him back to his story, and then we're going to update to Kendrick, all right?
And so now, a certain energy happened when Tupac and the Outlawz got together and we started working on music. Sometimes it might have been a competitive energy because we were all competitive. You know, everybody wanted to have the dopest verse on a song. We were all absolutely pushing in the same direction. And I know for me, I wanted to make sure that people understood why Pac chose us to because he could fuck with anybody. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for an outstanding album. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for bringing that energy back to the West Coast. I'm a fan. I love what he's doing right now. I feel like Kendrick Lamar is at a place in his career where he understands his sound, his lane, and that he owns that lane. And when you come up with your own sound and you get into your own lane, that's when you truly become, you know, one of the greats. And I think he's accomplished that. I think he's accomplishing that right now in front of our very eyes. So shout out to him. I love him. I love when people, not only just Kendrick, But I love when people do, our music over. I take it as a compliment. I take it as, it's a form of flattery. They say imitation is the biggest form of flattery. And again, I don't think Kendrick Lamar imitated Tupac or the Outlawz. I just think he captured and wanted to re-deliver or bring back some of that energy to hip hop. Mission accomplished. Look, it's EDI Mean TV, talk my truth. I'm gone.
Salute to EDI Mean, giving Kendrick his love and respect and also giving us that history lesson. If you want to see the entire video, because I did cut out approximately 6 minutes of that video for conciseness, you can check that out on EDI Mean TV, where he gets into all of the laying down the vocals and the lyrics and all of that type of stuff that went into the original Made Niggas track, and how Tupac was kind of inspired by the Outlawz, which is why he has 2 verses on the song, because, Outlawz is already 5 niggas. For him to have 2 verses on that bitch, it's a long record, right? But at that time, he felt like they were hitting their stride as a group and at their lyrical abilities and stuff like that. So he was giving them love and, dope. Always been one of my favorite Tupac, not my favorite Tupac tracks, but definitely one of my favorite Tupac beats. Like, that beat has always been iconic to me. So for Kendrick to use it, also borrow the cadence from Pac, but then put his own spin on it, and then he gets the love from one of the original Outlaw members, I think that's dope. Now, moving forward with this track, Reincarnated, I want to give a big shout out to Mimi, the music blogger, who's been doing a lot of good work in the music journalism space. She wrote this article giving us her interpretation of what Reincarnated is all about, because there's been a lot of debate about, who is he rapping from the perspective of, who's the person in the first verse, who's the person in the second verse. I had a initial thought with Robert Johnson. It turns out I don't think it's actually him, but his story kind of still is similar, especially with the context of the song. Some people thought Billie Holiday was the second verse, and there's been some other perspectives out there that may be leading us in the right direction. All right, so she documents it here. She says that, matter of fact, I'll share my screen with y'all. Fuck it. Reincarnated by Kendrick Lamar, an interpretation. Mimi the music blogger connects the past, present, and future of black music on this highlight from the Compton rapper's new album. Now, some people out there don't appreciate this, right? They like, man, y'all be digging so deep into Kendrick Lamar's albums and everything he do, every hand symbol he make, every time he look over his shoulder, every time he look to the right or to the left, y'all think he got a deeper meaning to it. Hey, if that's not your bag, if you're not into uncovering and discovering deeper meaning in people's music, you might want to listen to simpler music, you know what I'm saying? But this is an artist that does write in a pretty layered style, and always, I mean, even in his music videos, the stuff is not there for no reason. He even had the motherfucking Soul Train Scrabble board telling you everything is something. So I don't know what to tell you, but let's move forward. Kendrick Lamar's GNX album standout track for her is Reincarnated. That's one of the standouts for me. Maybe not the standout, but one of them. She says it serves as an intricate exploration of hip-hop's evolution, the artist who embodied its spirit, the generational trauma embedded with every note and pen stroke, and ultimately Kendrick's knowledge of self. A cathartic journey on wax and an exploration of the paradoxes that manifest themselves within us all. The listener is invited to join K-Dot, coming to terms with his own strengths, weaknesses, and uncertainties, whilst retracing, exploring their origin stories through his penmanship. Kendrick is striving to be a vessel for change, changes in himself, and also the cultural paradigms he has grown accustomed to. In doing so, he is inviting listeners to embark on the same journey themselves. To know thyself is to know God. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle states that there is inherent uncertainty in the act of measuring a variable of a particle. Commonly applied to the position and momentum of a particle in quantum physics, it states that the more precisely the position is known, the more uncertain the momentum is, and vice versa. Reincarnated perhaps serves as K-Dot's own scientific self-analysis of the man in the mirror, an exploration of the soul that is staring back at him. This is Kendrick taking his own quantum leaps. While some interpretations frame the track as a reflection of Kendrick's spiritual journey, there's another lens through which to view this masterpiece, a reincarnation of genres, tracing the lifetimes of music and the protagonists that define them. This theory builds on JF Music's take, as well as the insightful corrections and analysis provided by words from K-Dot. It made me think this is a layered narrative that traces music's lineage from jazz and blues to hip-hop while exploring the cycles of pain, redemption, and growth that accompany each lifetime. Hip-hop, Kendrick's current lifetime, is explored as a descendant of jazz and blues via his lyrical storytelling. Kendrick unearths the lineage of his music and how each generation has carried forward its gifts and curses marked by triumphs, struggles, and self-destruction to ultimately reclaim those narratives in the present day. So in verse 1, we got John Lee Hooker, okay? Which I did see some people saying that this was a more accurate depiction of who Kendrick Lamar was talking about, framing the story around in that first verse, the spirit of blues. She says, Kendrick begins by reincarnating himself as John Lee Hooker, one of the most prominent figures in blues history. The lyrics delve into Hooker's rebellious spirit and flawed humanity. Okay? And then she gets into the lyrics, reincarnated on this earth for 100 plus, body after body, lesson after lesson. Hooker's reputation as a ladies' man, his knack for bending the truth about his origins, and his groundbreaking artistry are all encapsulated in Kendrick's storytelling. She makes reference here. I found myself with a pocket full of money and a whole lot of respect, while the record vendors love me. But I manipulated power as I lied to the masses, died with my money. Gluttony was too attractive. Reincarnated. Y'all know I had to do that. Hooker's legacy reflects the duality of brilliance and ego, a theme that recurs throughout the track. His death in 2001 closed one chapter, but the spirit of the blues lives on, reincarnated and reinvoked in the genres that have followed. So that's her interpretation of verse 1, which again seems to be more in line than what I had originally thought. Verse 2, we have Dinah Washington, the queen of blues. So she goes on to say, the next lifetime shifts to Dinah Washington, the queen of blues. This correction, credited to words from K-Dot, clears earlier speculation that the verse referenced Billie Holiday. Washington's life mirrors the struggles outlined in the lyrics. Another life had placed me as a black woman in a chitlin circuit. Seductive vocalist as the promoter hit the curtains. Washington's unmatched talent brought her fame, but her addiction ultimately led to her tragic death at 39 from an accidental overdose of prescription drugs. Now, this is up for debate. I've seen some people going back and forth. Some believe that is for sure Billie Holiday. Some people believe for sure that it is Dinah Washington. One of the reasons why people don't believe it's Miss Dinah Washington is because she died from prescription drugs rather than actual needles, right? Which, of course, was heroin. That's up for debate. Nothing we're saying here is to be set in stone. If you have other theories, be sure to put it into the comments. Let us know who you see Kendrick Lamar talking about in those verses, because I think that these stories are very much interchangeable due to the times, due to the experiences, and due to the substances of the time period. If you go back into the 40s, 50s, 60s, you know what I'm saying, 70s even, 80s, the different drugs of choice can be interchangeable, but the story and the way that things unfold are very similar between a lot of different artists, unfortunately. And just people in general. It's not just an artistic thing. But the lyric goes, hair on needles had me in fetal position, restricted, turned on my family. I went wherever cameras be. Her story embodies the cycle of generational trauma, the ways addiction and external pressures often weigh on artists who become icons of their time. This lifetime isn't just about Washington, but reflects a broader commentary on how music, whilst being a communal gift, can also be one of the heaviest burdens to carry. Verse 3, we've got Kendrick Lamar, hip-hop's vessel. Got a photo of Tupac here, as of course we know he kind of reincarnates Tupac's vocal delivery, his inflections, his cadence, even the way that he wrote the rhymes. It was in a very Tupac-ish, poetic prose rather than the more wordy, more intricate rhyme patterns that Kendrick tends to use. So Kendrick then transitions to his present self, the incarnation of hip-hop. This track samples Made Niggas by one of hip-hop's greatest martyrs, Tupac Shakur, as we already know and we talked about in the first half of this video. And the delivery of the track is an imitation of Tupac. I don't feel like it's an imitation. I would say more of an emulation, if anything. I know those definitions are similar, but imitation doesn't really go over well most times. Okay? He acknowledges his role as a steward of the genre, using his platform to elevate and inspire while grappling with his flaws. My present life is Kendrick Lamar, a rapper looking at the lyrics to keep you in awe. This lifetime is marked by self-awareness and a desire to break free from cycles of pride and ego. I'm yelling, Father, did I finally get it right? Everything I did was selfless. And of course, God says, nah, tell me more. Here, Kendrick confronts the generational curses embedded in hip-hop, from materialism to violence, as he attempts to rewrite the narrative. This verse symbolizes hip-hop's evolution, its power to uplift marginalized voices, but also its entanglement with destructive cycles. Now, for me, I didn't feel like verse 3, the Kendrick Lamar portion, was really about the greater pantheon of hip-hop. I felt like it was literally Kendrick Lamar. That's my perspective. Again, be sure to share yours. Because when he talks about having 100 hoods on stage and inspiring peace and all of these different things, we literally saw that at the pop out, where he was able to culminate all of these different sections, different neighborhoods, and different, street fraternities, gangs, having them all under one roof for one, then all on one stage, and having them to rehearse, that week leading up to the show, and everybody's coming in and out and having to be cool and having a great time. Peace, no issues, no violence, no nothing. And then trying to carry that forward. We've seen that process all year. Then you had the peace walk that came thereafter. Kendrick wasn't at that, but it was based off of the energy that he had created with the pop out. And God was like, that still ain't enough, homie. Talking about all this good that you've done is great. But what about your heart? Are you healing the hearts of these people? Because they just like you. But we'll keep going. Verse 4, the origin of music, the devil's playground, right? So, and of course, we have that, the devil's story being the great musician he was, misleading people with music and then being stricken down from heaven, excuse me. Final verse takes an unexpected turn, tracing music's origins back to its biblical and mythological roots. Kendrick embodies the devil himself, cast out of heaven for his pride. You fell out of heaven because you was anxious, didn't like authority, only searched to be heinous. A moment where Kendrick links music to its spiritual origins, framing it as both a divine gift and a tool for manipulation. Kendrick critiques the role of music in perpetuating fear and division while simultaneously reclaiming its healing potential. Centuries you manipulated man with music, embodied you as superstars to see how you move it. Yet the verse ends on a redemptive note. Kendrick vows to reclaim music from its darker impulses and use it as a force for unity and understanding. I rewrote the devil's story just to take our power back, Reincarnated. So hopefully, at this point, Kendrick can really only speak for himself, but hopefully with the influence, the inspiration, the motivation that he can give to others that are watching him, others that are in the space, others that want to be musicians, hopefully they could take something from this song or from the message in this song or the message in his music throughout his discography to perhaps consider an alternative approach to music rather than just promoting destruction. That's an uphill battle, but we'll see how many actually, take on that mission, because some will, many won't. This climactic moment symbolizes taking new ownership of hip-hop's narrative, reclaiming it from its historical and spiritual burdens, and transforming it into a tool for collective growth. She then gets into the devil's playground and generational trauma. At its core, Reincarnated is about the cyclical nature of trauma and redemption in music. From blues to jazz to hip-hop, each genre carries the scars of its predecessor's addiction while offering a space for expression and healing. After watching JF Music's breakdown, my idea of music as the devil's playground underscores its ability to corrupt, while words from K-Dot's analysis of Dina Washington highlights the way generational pain shapes each musical lifetime. Kendrick's act of rewriting the devil's story symbolizes him reclaiming agency, purpose, and harmony, leading into a new lifetime for music. Throughout Reincarnated, Kendrick Lamar weaves a profound narrative of music's lifetimes, tracing its lineage through historical figures and genres while confronting the generational curses that continue to shape his trajectory. In doing so, he challenges listeners and artists alike, to consider the responsibility that comes with artistic creation. By embracing his vulnerability, Kendrick's latest works serves as a beacon of hope, a reminder that music's power lies not in its ability to manipulate and control, but in its power to heal, uniting the dualities in oneself and the masses alike. Okay? There, she gives special thanks to JF Musics via Instagram and word from K-Dot via X, also known as Twitter, for their nuanced insights. It's been a powerful exercise exploring Kendrick's multifaceted and layered storytelling with other listeners. Once again, that is Mimi, the music blogger. Okay? I believe she's in the UK, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to her. She does pretty good work covering music, reviewing music, and giving artists spotlight. Not always the big artists, too. She gives smaller artists some love, too, in her locale. So big salute to her, because that's not an easy undertaking. Sometimes covering smaller artists is like it's more of a job than your job, and it pays far less. So yeah, there we have it. We have EDI Mean from the Outlawz saluting Kendrick for making Reincarnated, remaking the Made Niggaz song from Pac and the Outlawz, in which he was featured on and was paid, a portion of $30K to create amongst the rest of the group. And now he gets to see it in 2024 be remade by one of hip-hop's top artists, one of hip-hop's most important artists in current time, most influential. And he's got everybody like just reeling, like, yo, what is he going to do next? What's he going to say next? Is he going to drop another project? Is he going to give us more? Is he going to, Is he going to come outside? What is this Super Bowl shit finna look like? He's got everybody tuned in, and I feel like he's making the right moves right now. He's not overdoing it. He's not blabbing his mouth. He's not suing nobody. He's not manipulating the audience. He's just dropping music, dropping his videos, giving little hints to see, where you're going to see him next on some Where's Waldo shit, and going back to his family. I mean, if you can't respect that, your whole perspective is whack. But let me know what y'all think once again down below in the comments on both sides of it. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one, all right? Much love and respect. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.